Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Am I being debated? Am I being debated? Oh my God. Oh my God. Is this for real? Are we being for real right now? Folks. Am I being for real? Are you being for real? A moment we have waited for so long. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and MBs, this is one of the greatest villains of our and many others' lifetimes. Henry Kissinger dies at age 100. Oh my God. Anye, Baba! Henry Kissinger is dead. What a glorious day. I mean, fucking only at the age of 100. Unfortunately, died. Surrounded, I assume, by his blood boys and family members and loved ones. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Henry Kissinger, notorious villain, architect of American Cold War, genocidal monster, one of the greatest genocidal figures of all time, literally. Henry Kissinger has died at the age of 100. Yeah, he died before Jimmy Carter. R.I.P. Bozo. That's crazy. He's dead. Everyone has written an obituary. Like, there are so many people that have most likely, like, look how fast they fucking dropped this on the Washington Post. This has been a moment that everyone was waiting, so many people were waiting for. Kind of a tasteless reaction towards a man who did so much stuff in his time. Bro, this is like, you know how America celebrated when Osama bin Laden was fucking murked? Like, this dude is Osama bin Laden to the third world times 1 million. You know what I mean? There's no comparison. I mean, this is the true villain. Like, if there's a singular force of evil that you can point to, feels too soon, you know, maybe let's wait a bit. No fucking shot, dude. Fuck that guy. I'm in a little bit of shock. Did Kissinger die? Yes. We broke it before they did, dude. We outflanked them. I don't know what to say. What a glorious, joyous moment. What a joyous moment, but also at the same time, it's like, you know, he got to fucking live to 100. Let's take a look at what Henry Kissinger was doing right before he died, guys. Let's take a look at what he was doing right before he died. Oh, Henry Kissinger on Hamas attacks fallout. Germany let in too many foreigners. As a minority in Berlin cheers Hamas attacks on Israel, former top U.S. diplomat says immigration was a grave mistake. Motherfucker. Bro, so many of these pieces of shit. It's like Dianne Feinstein fucking all the way to the end, you know what I mean? I'm laughing to the bang line. I'm laughing at the same line. Oh, wow. What can you say? The only thing that makes me sad is that Anthony Bourdain died before he could see this old man pass, you know? Guy was talking about grave mistakes. Motherfucker was worried about the wrong grave. Oh, that's funny. These are moments where I assume, where I hope that, you know, hell is real, right? So that he fucking goes. Dude, he doesn't, like, people like this, evil never dies, okay? People like this, unfortunately, they just get away with it. They stay alive for 100 years. Shout out to you when you went to his 100th birthday. Hassan Piker and Austin Show attends war criminal Henry Kissinger's 100th birthday party. Rap TV. Kissinger died to a self-sucking incident. That's what I've heard too. Here, let's watch the Mehdi Hassan video on like literally. Let me tell you something. This is going to be the lightest version of his most grave crimes against humanity.
Kissinger's 100th birthday. Yes, the man who served.
Oh my God! I made this. I made this prediction, right? I said that was one of my predictions.
Served as National Security Advisor and Secretary of State to two Republican presidents, Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford, the author of more than a dozen best-selling books on foreign policy and grand strategy, and a man who's been described as arguably the most famous and controversial diplomat of the 20th century, turns a century old on Saturday, May the 27th. In fact, this past Monday, Kissinger blew out the candles on his 100th birthday cake on the Economic Club of New York stage in front of an adoring audience. And remember, it's not just conservatives who worship at the altar of the Henry Kissinger. Establishment liberals, top Democrats even, have fallen over one another to associate themselves with the great Kissinger, to heap praise upon his ginormous intellect and historic achievements. Barack Obama's administration honored Kissinger with a special award. Hillary Clinton called him her friend and said she relied on his counsel. Samantha Power, the self-styled champion of humanitarian interventions, went to a baseball game with Kissinger. And Joe Biden, when he was a senator, toasted Kissinger, although, to be fair, he hasn't yet invited him to the White House like all of his predecessors have done. But look, here's what I want to do to mark Kissinger's 100th birthday. I want to talk about some of the many, many people around the world who didn't get to live till 100 or even 60, 70 or 80 because of Henry Kissinger, because of his support for brutal dictators, brutal regimes, brutal wars and war crimes. Let's start where else? In Southeast Asia. The war in Vietnam, which Kissinger may have ridiculously won a Nobel Peace Prize for ending, but which he prolonged and escalated in the first place, including a secret and illegal expansion of that bloody war to Laos and Cambodia. It was him. Thanks to a report released by the Department of Defense in 1973, we know that the National Security Council, headed by Henry A. Kissinger, approved each of the 3,875 Cambodia bombing raids in 1969 and 1970, as well as the methods for keeping them out of the newspapers. To quote Kissinger himself while instructing an all-out air assault on Cambodia, anything that flies on anything that moves. As Human Rights Watch noted in 2001, United States and South Vietnamese aerial bombings on Kissinger's watch left approximately 350,000 Laotian civilians and 600,000 Cambodian civilians dead. And just this past week, The Intercept reported, on the basis of U.S. military documents and eyewitness accounts from Cambodian survivors, that Kissinger is responsible for more civilian deaths in Cambodia than was previously known. And yet, Kissinger has never apologized for what he did to Laos or Cambodia, instead defending those bombing campaigns as legitimate attacks on North Vietnam.
I failed to see the moral issue.
Vietnamese forces, and saying he failed to see any moral issue with them. Still, as the late great Anthony Bourdain once wrote, witness what Henry did in Cambodia, the fruits of his genius for statesmanship, and you will never understand why he's not sitting in the dock at The Hague next to Milosevic. Then there's Argentina. In 1976, a coup d'etat overthrew the elected president and replaced Eva Perón with a military junta. That junta then launched what's been called the Dirty War, the hunting down of political dissidents, of socialists, trade unionists, students. And they launched it with the approval, encouragement even, of Henry Kissinger. We know this thanks to declassified documents, which the New Yorker reported on.
Oh, God, I'm going to do such a fat America bad propaganda power hour tomorrow. It's not even funny. Like, so many motherfuckers that always say, Hassan, all you say is America bad, are finally going to come to terms with why America bad. Incredible stuff. There are oftentimes, there are very there are very few singular individuals that you can point at when describing American foreign policy being just insurmountable evil, right? Because it's oftentimes simply a collection of individuals acting out on their capital self-interest.
Writing 2 days after the coup, Kissinger was briefed by his Assistant Secretary of State, who warned him, I think also we've got to expect a fair amount of repression, probably a good deal of blood in Argentina before too long. Kissinger replied, whatever chance they have, they will need a little encouragement, because I do want to encourage them. In a meeting with the Argentine foreign minister 2 months later, Kissinger advised him, in the words of the New Yorker, winkingly, quote, we are aware you are in a difficult period. We understand you must establish authority. If there are things that have to be done, you should do them quickly. Somewhere between 20 and 30,000 people are believed to have been arrested, tortured, and killed in Argentina's dirty war. As The Guardian notes, many bodies have never been found. No birthday parties for them. Then there is East Timor, which was invaded by Indonesia in December 1975, an invasion that led to the deaths of at least 100,000 people over the next 2 decades plus of Indonesian occupation, according to a UN-backed Truth Commission. On the eve of that invasion, literally the day before, Kissinger, alongside President...
There's so much more. Like, this is just not even a highlight. Like, this doesn't even scratch the motherfucking surface, dude. I can't even begin to explain this to you, okay? Yo, who's worse, Bin Laden or America statistically victim-wise? Wait, what? Bin Laden or America victim-wise? What do you mean? America fucking killed 1 million Iraqis. Like, what? America sneezes and on accident fucking kills like 3,000 civilians. The fuck?
President Ford met...
America's the greatest terrorist on the planet. There's nothing that comes close to the number of civilian deaths.
With Indonesian dictator General Suharto.
Yeah. Bin Laden is the coughing baby if America is the hydrogen bomb.
And basically gave him the green light to invade. To quote Kissinger's advice to Suharto from a declassified document, it is important that whatever you do succeeds quickly, but that it would be better if it were done after we returned to the United States. Then there's East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, which was attacked by a military-ruled West Pakistan, now just Pakistan, in 1971, a conflict that killed hundreds of thousands of Bengalis and displaced millions. And yet, as Princeton professor Gary Bass has shown, based on declassified documents and White House tapes, Kissinger stood stoutly behind Pakistan's generals, supporting the murderous regime at many of the most crucial moments. And when a U.S. diplomat on the ground in what was then East Pakistan sent a cable to Washington warning of a genocide, Kissinger called the man a maniac and had him dismissed from his post. I could go on and on and on, sadly. I didn't even get to Chile and Kissinger's support for General Pinochet's coup there, or his betrayal of Iraq's Kurds. Kissinger, of course, has for years denied any criminal culpability for any of this. But he did cancel a trip to South America in 2002 after Chile opened a probe into the Pinochet coup. As human rights lawyer Bruce Broomhall told the New York Times back then, quote, I think it's clear that Kissinger is now one of many, many officials who have to think twice before they travel. As historian Greg Grandin of Yale has argued, a full tally hasn't been done, but a back-of-the-envelope count would attribute 3, maybe 4 million deaths to Kissinger's actions.
Easy.
So where is the accountability? The reckoning? Where is justice, dare I ask? In his 2001 book, The Trial of Henry Kissinger, the late Christopher Hitchens called for Kissinger to be prosecuted for war crimes, for crimes against humanity, and for offenses against common or customary or international law, including conspiracy to commit murder, kidnap, and torture. And yet Kissinger this week celebrates his landmark 100th birthday with not an arrest warrant or war crimes tribunal in sight.
Henry Kissinger being a free man for his entire life after the many war crimes that he was the direct architect of truly shows America's hegemonic power status. Okay? Like, it goes to show you that the International Criminal Court, The Hague, international humanitarian law, all all of these organs that are supposed to uphold the liberal, rule-based international order are simply there for aesthetic purposes, or in many instances to give the go-ahead to the United States of America to go and bludgeon our foreign adversaries. Was this popular opinion to say against Kissinger years ago? Yes. 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 Henry Kissinger has been a notorious evil figure that notoriously evil figure that many people consider to be objectively evil for so long. It's not even a controversy. It's a cliche. To say rest in peace Henry Kissinger is unironically a cliche. The funny problem, the funny situation is that, like, a lot of liberals that you will be hearing from tomorrow that celebrate Henry Kissinger's death, people that adorn the aesthetics of radical politics, will be doing it without even considering the irony of their endless defense for American misconduct, American imperialism in the ongoing conflicts. Don't forget that. We're not just talking about 4 million dead. You have to take into account how many decades worth of economic and social hardship these countries are having to endure because of him, forever stuck in the depths of poverty, humanity set back as a whole because of this one demon. The 4 million are direct birth defects. Yeah, I mean, I showed the Anthony Bourdain quote from his book. Once you've been to Cambodia, you'll never stop wanting to beat Henry Kissinger to death with your bare hands. You will never again be able to open a newspaper and read about what that treacherous, prevaricating, murderous scumbag sitting down for a nice chat with Charlie Rose or attending some black tie affair for a new glossy magazine without choking. Witness what Henry did in Cambodia, the fruits of his genius for statesmanship, and you will never understand why he's not sitting in the dock at The Hague next to Milosevic. While Henry continues to nibble nori rolls and ramaki at A-list parties, Cambodia, the neutral nation he secretly and illegally bombed, invaded, undermined, and then threw the dogs, is still trying to raise itself up on its one remaining leg.